So I think it's counting down.
All right.
Let me see. Okay, we're now live on Facebook. Hi, everyone. This is Ayana, your transformation health coach, here with on Sunday with Valentine's Day with a special guest, one of my love people. And I'm so excited because we are, I'm your transformational health coach here with tips helping you transform the way you look at food, exercise, and most importantly, yourself. And I'm so excited because for the first time, I think ever, I have a special guest joining me who is amazing. And her name is Bliss, and she is incredible. She is just a powerhouse and so inspirational to me personally and to everybody who I know and love who gets to interact with her. She's a great friend, a client. She makes incredible, healthy, amazing meals and food for people. She's just so awesome. And so I'm going to have her introduce herself a little bit more in depth here. But we thought that on this Valentine's Day, and since it is in February, this month in my business is all about joyful eating. Who better to talk about joyful eating than Bliss, who, if you don't follow her, you need to, because her pictures of healthy food are so delicious. And every time I see it, I'm like, I want to eat that right away. So Bliss, is there anything that you'd like to say about yourself or to start out by talking about yourself a little bit? Go ahead.
Sure, just a little bit about myself. So I'm a happy transplant to Oakland, and that becomes relevant more when we talk about the food piece. So I'm originally from Oklahoma, so more of a Southern girl.
Yes.
I'm a mother, a wife, have 4 children, really excited about that. And really, food is important. It's like the cornerstone of any household. So that's been a cornerstone for me. I'm also a well-being coach. And what does that mean, well-being coach? It means that I kind of look at things from the inside out. So spiritual practice, looking at finances, looking at career, looking at how well are you living your life, your life. So that's a little bit about me to get us started. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. So again, Bliss is extremely incredible. And, we will, when we're done with this video, I'll definitely post her social media link so that you guys can follow her and check her out because her stuff is really amazing. And Bliss, I'm just curious, since we're talking about joyful eating, like celebrating healthy eating and really falling in love with it, I know a lot of people struggle with that. So I'm just curious what, if you could tell us a little bit more about your journey with healthy eating and how you got into it.
Oh, yeah. So I wasn't always the healthy eater, not at all. Growing up in the South, we ate for taste. I learned more about that once I moved to California, where people do things a little more, looking at wellness. So balancing the two. So I had a health scare happen, thing about blood pressure and those kind of concerns. And so as I started wanting to heal my body naturally, I started having to adapt how I was eating. And so as I adapted how I was eating, I wanted to make sure there was still some flavor because I'm a flavor person. So I had to kind of adapt and make some changes, moving from the soul food into healthy eating and how can I still bring the soul food with me? And so I've learned how to do that.
Yes. Yes. And I love that. That's so powerful because, if you don't like what you're eating, I mean, you have to eat food all day. So for people who, are out there feeling like that their food has to suck or not be fun or flavorful, it's just not a healthy place to be in. You can eat healthy and it be delicious. So thank you for that. And also too, I also come from Caribbean and Southern roots, so I know about the eating for taste. So so thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Caribbean. Oof, yes.
Yes, absolutely. So now what I'm really, I think, are you stuck? Okay, I think one of us was stuck. There we go. Okay, we're back.
Okay.
So one of the things that we were going to talk about now, we've been talking about, I know, technology, right? Now, you've been hearing us talk about her food and how amazing it is. And, if you don't believe me personally, right? Or if you need to see proof, I asked her, I said, think of some pictures of food you want to show because your food is just, it's so artistic too. It's just incredible. And it doesn't mean that your food has to look like Bliss's, but it's just showing you that you can have fun with your food and get creative, and you should. Okay. And also too, that you may not have to do a lot of work to get that food.
no.
So I'm going to
The
share my,
picture of the food that I sent you, they're pretty simple.
that's right. So which one do you want to start with? So you guys, these are just incredible looking.
Let's start with the one. Yeah, start with the one right there
Right.
on the left.
Okay.
Let's
Perfect.
take a look at that.
Okay. Oh,
Let's see.
girl. What?
Ah, yes. So this
What is that?
It's a
What's-
breakfast smoothie. So I'll tell you the truth. For me is sometimes I get bored with my smoothies. So on the weekend, since I do about one smoothie a day typically. Because in addition to wellness,
Yes.
I'm also looking at balancing weight for myself. And so smoothies kind of help with that. So I just found a creative way to make my smoothies. So this is the same smoothie that you make every morning. So I have a protein shake that I use from Arbonne, vanilla.
Yep.
And then I put my berries in it. So how this is different than the kind that you drink, I make it thicker. And how do I do that? Less water or less milk if you're using milk, either one. But the berries are frozen. So I blend it so that it's thicker. And then I pour it into a nice size bowl. And the picture that you see with like the almonds and the chia seeds and blueberries on top, and there's hemp seeds sprinkled all on the top and the strawberries on the side. These are things that I would typically blend into a looser smoothie that I would drink down.
Got you. Okay.
So I didn't put all of it in there, just enough to give you that really, yeah. It has strawberries blended in it as well. So it's blueberries, blackberries, and just a few strawberries that are blended in the base part of it.
Oh my goodness.
And then I just took one, no, that's two strawberries. And I just cut them into slivers, put them along the side, and just made it pretty. You'll see the green is pumpkin seeds.
Yes.
And these are all things that I would usually just grind into the actual smoothie and drink down. And so sometimes I'll do this on the weekends, especially on a Saturday morning, because it just makes it a little more fun. And then I don't get as bored with the smoothie.
I love that.
So that's an easy one.
Yes. I love that. And it looks delicious. Like I'm gonna eat that right now.
It was really good. I just used my spoon and just spooned it all up. You know, it was so good. And then you get all the flavors and the textures and everything. So I take a quick picture and then I kind of mix it in all together. And then you get like just a nice spark. Like, ooh, that's almonds. Ooh, that's blueberries. So it never gets boring.
I love the color of it. I love like the different textures going on in it. And also too, I heard you talking about like the protein powder that you put in that. Did you want to say something a little bit more about that? The protein powder you use?
Arbonne is amazing. This is something I started using. Yeah, that's the powder I use. I use vanilla most of the time. And the reason why I use vanilla is I can make whatever I want with it. I can make it green. I can make it chocolate. You know, I do use the chocolate Arbonne product as well. It's vegan and it's tasty. And it's one of the only powders that I've come across that does not have an aftertaste or that chalky. You know what I mean? Have you ever had like one of those smoothies and you like, ooh, no, right? It's just, you know, this is healthy, it's good for me, but ooh, it's nasty. And so the thing that you'll learn about me is I like food that tastes good. I like it to be pretty and I like for it to taste good. So Arbonne is the way to go. So if anybody is interested in knowing more about Arbonne, you can contact me or Ayana about that.
That's right.
But the Arbonne, literally, I've tried so many smoothie powders, and it has to be vegan for me because that's my personal choice. And it's actually very tasty. It's very, very tasty. You can't go wrong with it.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, so delicious. Oh, anyways, I'm too hungry looking at this.
It is.
And it's just so beautiful. You know, I just, that's what I love about it. And again, you know, for me personally, like some of us, you know, Bliss, it definitely is an artist. And you know, that her art comes out in the way that she makes food and prepares it. It doesn't have to look this pretty, but it's about the taste of it, right? You don't have to try, you know, sometimes people obsess over making it look exactly the same way, but it's about getting what, you know, the good, healthy food that makes you feel good and having a taste that's incredible. So this is just delicious.
I think the most important ingredient with food is the love that you put into it.
Yes.
And that's more important than what it looks like. And so if you notice with my strawberries, I was kind of noticing that they have like a heart shape look to it.
Yes.
And for me, I absolutely will not cook anything for anyone food, you know, the folks that you cook for. And that's part of what makes it fun. I'm the only vegan in my family. family, but my family gets in here and we cook together. You ought to see us on the holidays. There's music, and so there's singing, there's dancing, and there's
Yes,
food, and
I
this
love it.
makes everybody happy and joyful. So that's part of how you keep it going. And it doesn't really matter what it looks like. You are your own artist.
That's right.
The people that I follow, I have some favorite cookbooks that I'll be sharing with you. And when I follow their foods, I don't do it exactly the way they do it. I kind of blisserize it, and it never looks exactly like their delicious food. It looks like my delicious food. So I
Yes,
want to encourage you, when you make your foods, make it your delicious food.
that's right. Absolutely. Oh, I accidentally hit Excel. So we're going to close out of Excel. I'm so excited. I started opening things. Yeah. Okay.
Now that's fine. This is the fun part of it, you know?
Yes, it is. Okay, so let's
Yeah.
move on to the next picture.
Yeah.
So let's see here.
Mhm.
There we go. Oh goodness, what is this? Looking delicious as well.
Ah, this is chia seed pudding. So this is one I was actively trying to figure out a way to create beauty with the chia seed pudding. Some people don't like chia seed pudding. I'm like, it can be so good, and you have to get
Yes.
used to it.
Yeah.
So when you start with the chia seed, what I like to do with mine is I use like a nut-based milk, usually almond or cashew, or I might make a hemp seed milk, because I'll make my own vegan milk as well, and cover it, and then I'll also put in like a little bit of vanilla bean or some cardamom or both.
Mm, sounds delicious.
And you let it sit sometimes overnight. I usually have mine sit overnight. And what I did is I just cut nice pieces of strawberry and pushed it down on the side once the chia seeds were already gelled. And then you see a layer of cashew butter. And I mixed that up with like a little bit of cinnamon, just kind of stirred it up, and then I spread it across the top. And then the next layer, you see that's radish. So that's raspberries, strawberries, and a little bit of blueberries that were frozen, and they're blended. I just blended them and added just a little bit of water so it wouldn't be so thick that it couldn't move. So there's no sugar added to any of this, right?
Yeah.
And so if you want to add some sugar, you can. But for me, I'm really watching how much sugar I put in. And you see like the almonds on top, they're like slivers of almonds. I buy them that way because part of what keeps me joyful in the kitchen is not having to spend a lot of unnecessary time in the kitchen. You got to make it practical for you.
Yes.
And so I made that, and it was like a really nice breakfast. And I made it for me, myself, and my husband. That's just one of the pictures, I made two, and we had it that morning, and it was really, really tasty, and he really enjoyed it. So if you have someone who is not really concerned about sugar, you can take on top of the almonds, you can like sprinkle a little bit of sugar on top of that. You can blend a little bit of sugar in with the actual chia seeds, and you can also put some in with the berries or in any of those layers.
Wow.
You can also like squeeze some honey across the top of it as well. Or you can do like me and just have it the way that it is. It just depends on what fits for you. But I really did this because I wanted it to be pretty. I wanted him to see it and go like, wow, babe, this is like awesome, right?
Yes.
So
it looks like a celebration.
He's not looking at his sugar like I am. So I'm sorry?
It looks like a celebration,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And so he really liked it. And so usually for him on the weekends, I'll make something like that and maybe a bigger meal as well. And for me, this might be all that I eat in the mornings to kind of get me going. So, and this is the cool thing about eating healthy, is that you can change it up and fix it however you need to, like we talked about, like adding sugar at different layers or not adding any kind of sweetener at all. It just, there's different ways to do it. But this that you're looking at has no sugar in it at all. And it was delicious.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Oh, girl. So this is just, again, if you notice, Bliss is also talking about, these are satisfying, hearty meals too. These are things that are going to help you feel energized and feel good and feel amazing as you're eating them as well too. So, when people have, we last Sunday I talked about that myth where it's like you can't be full or satisfied when you're eating healthy, that it's just like rabbit food. All you're eating is lettuce all day. This is, you see that you get to have fun with it. You can be creative and feel satisfied and good. That looks so tasty.
This one here, if you look at it, it has a lot of healthy fats in it. The almonds has healthy fats in it.
That's right.
And so does the cashew butter.
That's
okay.
Right.
And then also you have your antioxidants in it with the berries.
That's
You're definitely going to get filled up from the chia seeds. Definitely. So there's a lot of protein in this one, a lot of healthy fats, antioxidants, So you do get full. And like, if you're on the go like me, I like to move around a lot. So
Yeah.
I don't necessarily eat like a super heavy meal anymore. But if you want something that's a little bit heavier and sticks to you, this is one of the ways to go. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much. And actually, so we have a comment on Facebook. It says, so Tracy said, looks good. I agree.
Thank you, Tracy. It was good.
I believe it. I believe it. Okay, now it looks like we have a couple of savory dishes. Ooh, so talk about this one.
Okay, so this is really when you get down to like having like some leftovers and it's like, there's all these leftovers. How can I use them up so I don't lose my produce, right?
Yes.
So since I am watching the sugar and I'm watching like the carbs, not carbs in the sense I don't have carbs, but carbs like potatoes, like white potatoes. I'm looking at that because it breaks down and kind of adds to the inflammation. So what you see here are sweet potatoes. Yes. Those are sweet potatoes that are on the right side. And I just roasted them. I used a little bit of oil. If you didn't know, olive oil doesn't hold up very well in high heats. So you want to use something different, maybe like avocado oil or even coconut oil, something like that. It's a little bit heavier. So I just kind of what am I saying? I massaged it in. And then I used some smoked paprika on top of it, a little bit of garlic, that kind of thing, and put it in the oven, the sweet potatoes. And then that's a little bit of quinoa that I had left. Sometimes I'll have quinoa as a breakfast cereal. I don't like oatmeal. I'm like, probably shouldn't say that, but I don't like oatmeal. Everybody in the house likes oatmeal except me. But I'm like I am not the oat. No, I do not like oatmeal. No. So I don't have the oatmeal, right? So instead I'll have quinoa. So I had a little bit left of the quinoa. Yeah, thank you. I had a little bit left of the quinoa. So I just put it in a skillet, right? I just put it in the skillet, just kind of added some different things in there, like a little bit of onion powder, garlic powder, and like a pinch of Himalayan sea salt. Just kind of turned it over. And then you'll see like a little bit of lettuce that I had left in the refrigerator. And then on the other side, there's some spinach, that actually has a little bit of mushrooms in it, because that's what I had left in the fridge, right? And then I also had some cucumbers. I didn't want those to go bad. So put the cucumbers on the side, they're cold and they have a little bit of pepper sprinkled over it, and then you can use like a little bit of balsamic vinegar or something like that if you like. Mine just has a little bit of pepper. And then you see the red that's on the sides of the spinach over there. Those are cherry tomatoes that I kind of cut and stuck in there. And then I have my good fat. I have a little bit of avocado left. So just, and this is like fun for me. I get a kick out of seeing what's in the fridge. What can I do with it? How can I make it fun and interesting? And I'm almost always cooking with music, and I've done it my entire life. My daughter drew a picture of me when she was 6 years old, and I was in the kitchen, and she had music coming out of my mouth because I was singing, dancing around with my little wooden spoon, and I've got the power, right? And so I'm doing all these things, and so you just So and this is a very inexpensive meal. It's very inexpensive, and it was very, very filling. It's very filling and satisfying. The textures, the temperature of things, the flavors. That's and so it's like almost like a Buddha bowl, if you will.
I love that. Well, and it's great on a lot of levels, because not only does that look tasty, right? But what I also heard you saying too is, a lot of times people talk about like healthy eating as being too expensive, but this is really like an improvised dish with what was left over. It's, it's amazing what you can do,
What I say to people about healthy eating being more expensive. Yeah. In some situations, I know people are having a harder time with that than other people. And I understand that. And I'm not trying to minimize that, but you have to look at the overall picture, and you have to look at the fact that, you can pay now or pay later. And what I mean by that is prescriptions, medication, chronic pain and illness, and those kind of things. So where you can figure it out, that's the better way to go. It's better to buy organic. And here's the thing, when you buy whole foods versus things that are in a box, they actually fill you up because your body is not searching for the nutrients. And that's the trick of the boxes. Your body's searching for nutrients. That's right. Can't find them, and so it sends a signal to your brain that you're still hungry. So you keep eating. And so if you have whole foods, they fill you up, and then you don't have that going on. So you have to kind of look at it from that perspective. And if you can't do it all the time, figure out what days that you can do it, and just start implementing healthy eating where you can, and understand like this is what you're looking at here. these are things that I was concerned about losing if I didn't get to them quick enough.
That's right.
And so I made an entire meal out of that from things that I was concerned that I might lose in the fridge.
That's right. And that's
An
amazing.
entire meal.
And you're absolutely right
Thank
about
you.
that.
Thank you.
With the organic, and also too, if you're in, if places that are near cities, they're starting to be able to make organic food a little bit more accessible. So you can find them in more and more places, especially in the Bay Area. If you're in a place that's a little bit harder, you may have to travel a little bit more, but it may be worth it to do that.
Yeah.
And when you do a plan, you can keep your costs down, when you really go in with a plan. So those are some things. Actually, next week I'll be talking about meal planning. So
That'll be
we're right
great. Buy in bulk with grains and things like that. Buy it in bulk. It's a lot cheaper. Doesn't mean you got to come out of there with a 25-pound bag of rice. That's not what I mean by that. But when you buy it in the bulk section, it's less expensive and it will last a lot longer as well. And you do have to do some planning, but you got to either plan for being well or plan for being sick.
That's right. Absolutely. So Tracy asked, how long would this last if I meal prep? So I think she's referring to what you have up here.
Oh, this particular dish?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Let's take a look at it. Cucumbers will last for a pretty good while if you keep them refrigerated, of course. Sweet potatoes, I'm learning about how to store produce, and different types of produce needs to be stored differently. And I'm learning how to really properly do that. So sweet potatoes and white potatoes, things like that, they should not be stored in the refrigerator because they don't last as long.
Okay.
And then your green things like spinach and kale and things like that, they will last up to a week if you chop them up, wash them, pat them dry, and then you have to put them into like a plastic container or one of those freezer bags. You have to layer it like kale and then paper towel, kale and then paper towel, kale and paper towel. It'll last longer. If you just throw it in the refrigerator in its regular store bag, it's not going to last as long because it's already wet. So you want to get some of the moisture out. So kale, spinach, things like that, up to a week. Cherry tomatoes, they last a pretty good while. But the main thing that I would recommend, because I'm not the guru there, I'm learning about it myself. I would definitely like Google how to store.
Yes, absolutely.
Different produce. The quinoa will last you. It depends. Like maybe mine has lasted about 5 to 7 days. I usually don't season my quinoa. I keep it plain in the kitchen, in the refrigerator, so I can figure out. This is after cooking it, so I can figure out if I want to have it savory, if I want to have it for like a breakfast cereal. But I'll make, if I'm choosing quinoa for the week, I'll make the quinoa in advance, put it into a plastic container, and start portioning out so that I can get through the end of the week. And I didn't plan it out precisely. That's why I had quinoa left over for this particular dish, but I didn't want to lose that little bit of quinoa. So I made sure that I just used it here.
That's right. Absolutely.
I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. And then, Tracy had another question about the first dish, the bowl, or no, it might've been the second one right here. Like about, can you freeze this? Would you recommend freezing this?
I would not. I would not recommend freezing that. But mainly because of the cashew butter.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would be once you thawed it out.
That's right.
Usually when I'm gonna make chia seed pudding, I'll make anywhere from 2 to 4 servings. And I know that I'm gonna have them through the week. And because I meal prep, as Ayana's gonna share with y'all next week, because I meal prep, that works out really well for me.
Yes.
And I have not frozen that, but I'm concerned about the butter part of it. And how is that going to be once it thaws? Is it going to be hard? So I will be a little more concerned about that. So I may try it and see what happens, and then I'll have a better report, but I don't recommend that one.
So that goes with, so that's an excellent question. And that just goes with the meal prepping, right? So like, and there will be some trial and error in the beginning, but then as you get better with like your own, how you like to eat. Oh, Tracy said she likes to eat ice cream substitutes. Oh, I see. Okay.
Well, then we can talk about, if you want to do ice cream substitutes, one of them definitely would be nice cream that you can make with frozen bananas.
Ooh.
And that's a whole nother show that we can talk about, Ayana. And that's a whole nother show. But yes, I can definitely give you tips on how to do things like that. And That sounds more like nice cream. I wouldn't recommend it with the chia seed pudding per se, but the nice cream, oh my goodness, you will not
Yes.
miss the dairy ice cream. Because that was a problem for me, because I'm like, I need a 12-step program for ice cream. I'm gonna admit to it. It's like, yes,
And
my name
I'm
is
tagging
Bliss,
you. I'm
and I
tagging
have
you
a
in the
problem with
comments.
ice cream. So.
That's all right. That's all right. You know, like, and we get to have those things. You know, we like healthy eating. We get to enjoy those things from
Oh
time to time.
yeah,
So I'm tagging
we
you in the
do, and
comments.
you just do it in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that way
Okay.
she could reach out. So
Cool.
that
And
way
I can't see them right now, but yeah.
then you
Yeah,
can.
definitely reach out and contact me. I'm happy to help in any way that I can.
Okay. Now let's go to the last one, because I want to honor your time here, and we have, you know, a couple of quick announcements here.
Sure.
But so why don't you describe
Okay.
this next dish? This looks delicious too. What is that?
Thank you. So this is something I kind of call my Africanized stew. And the reason
Ooh.
why is from the seasonings, right? And so I'll make it different kinds of ways. In this picture, you'll see some zucchini. You'll usually see mushrooms with me, and you see some garbanzo beans, stewed tomatoes. And what really sets it off are the spices. And the spices, oh my goodness, there's a book. You know, I love Bryant Terry, and I'll be sharing some of these cookbooks, but I love some of his stuff. And he has a recipe where he uses like all these fresh ingredients and whatnot. So this is kind of like a blisserized version of that, right? So we got to blisserize everything, right? And so the seasonings, some of them is cardamom, there's garlic, there's ginger, there's cayenne pepper. And so you have to have the right blend. But if you do it just right, you know, throw a little chunky peanut butter in on the end, you know, bay leaves, all kinds of stuff. And so that's what you're seeing here. It is hearty. And when I tell you that my folks in my family are not vegan, they are not, and they love this dish. They absolutely love it. So I'm not promoting veganism for anyone. I'm just sharing with you my particular path, because I know that's not everyone's path. That's my journey. And just know that you can still have some vegan dishes here and there, or you can add whatever you want to add into it. But all of the meals that I share are vegan because that's my particular journey.
God, that looks so delicious. And that's, and just as Bliss said, right, there's a lot of power, a lot of enjoyment that comes from these healthy dishes. You know, adding those spices. I mean, my mouth is watering just thinking about it, because I have, you know, I have some African spices in my mind of, I'm going into my taste bud like memories, and I'm like, ooh, that just sounds so amazing. You know, you can really have fun and get creative and play around with this,
Well,
and make it
add color. The color is the main thing. Sometimes when I look at things, how I come up with my recipes, I look and see what color would I like to see here, and that kind of helps me from there. So play around with it, get creative. I've had plenty of recipes that did not turn out the way that I thought they would. It's not just, oh, I get it right every time. I keep working with it. Now, most of my recipes do turn out well, I will say that. But the ones that don't, well, it's like, well, how can I switch it up? And you can do the same thing. It's just a matter of using your own creative juices, and don't be afraid to try something. Even if it sounds kind of weird to you, just give it a try and see what happens. You know, see what happens. Let us know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so with that said, you know, just, I want to honor Bliss's time. This is so amazing and wonderful. And there are a couple more people who are popping on and leaving their comments. It's so wonderful. It's excellent. And what I'm going to do is, I think I tagged you in the comments, but just in case that doesn't work, I'll go back when this video is over, and I'll tag Bliss in the description. So that way you guys can check her, you know, check out her page, see even more food that she's posting, her workouts that she's posting. It's just an inspirational page to follow as well, and to support.
Thank you.
Of course, you know, like, you're amazing. You inspire me all the time.
Oh,
And
thank you.
Tamiko said it's a great idea to think of color.
Yes, Tamiko, how you doing? Thank you for hopping on.
And so what I'm going to do is, sadly,
another amazing person.
I'm going to stop sharing my screen, sadly,
Okay.
because it's so beautiful, and I could look at this all day. But I want to give this an opportunity just to kind of share, you know, like any services that you're offering, or just, you know, what it is that people, you know, like, I know you mentioned that you have a cookbook. So just an opportunity to share what it is that you have available for people, how they can get hooked up with you.
Well, Well, I'm working on a cookbook. My son has been bugging me about a cookbook for a few years now. He considers himself my manager. So we'll see what happens there. One of the, yeah, that's something that is important to me because I do get asked a lot about my recipes, right? So one of the things you can definitely hit me up for is if you are looking, especially right now, fitness, in terms if you're dealing with some kind of let's say chronic pain, because that's something that I'm working through in my life, and you would like support around that, you can contact me around that. I'm going to be doing some cooking classes very soon. And that way, some of these recipes, we can do them together. And you get a chance to hear some of my music. And you may see me around here getting a little jiggy with it, because that's what we do in the kitchen. So those are the things that you can definitely contact me about, especially right now. Those are the services that I'm going to be offering. And definitely also here to answer like quick questions. If you have like just a quick one-off, that you want to know, you can hit me up and ask me the question. I had somebody slide into the DMs last night with a quick question. Someone that I didn't know, and we were able to chat, and she was able to get her questions answered.
Love that.
So, and finally, get some good cookbooks. Whether you're vegan, omnivore, vegetarian, pescatarian, doesn't matter. Get you some good cookbooks. If you're a person who wants to transition and become vegan, talk to me about that as well, because I can definitely give you some insights and tips with that.
Yes. Thank you so much, Bliss. And I'm even more excited to also say this too, that, this is my first round of group coaching starting on Thursday. And Bliss is also going to be doing a session with my clients. And, if she likes it and will stick with me forever, then she will be doing this with me forever. And so she's going to be, sharing more of her wisdom with my clients, my coaching clients as well. So if you're ever interested in group coaching, we're starting group coaching this week. You could still jump in if you want to. You can message me and let me know more about that. And we also are going to have another round in June. So that's something else to look forward to. And just if you need, she was showing a lot of balanced meals. And if you don't know how to balance your plate, I have a freebie for you guys. You can click the description in the link for this video, and you can figure out how to make your plate balanced so that when you're eating healthy, you feel satisfied, like her beautiful meals will do for you too. Okay. And then, so I think that's it. Is there anything else you want to add before we close out? We're getting a lot of love on Facebook here.
Yay! Well, I just wanted to share some of, I don't have my cookbook out yet. I will, but I want to share some of my favorite cookbooks that I'm utilizing all the time. Sweet Potato Soul.
Yes.
So you can definitely get some good ideas there.
Yes.
Ageless
People are going crazy. Ooh, ageless vegan.
Yeah, most definitely. And Bryant Terry, his latest one, Vegetable Kingdom.
Yes. Oh.
So I have a ton of cookbooks. I think I have close to 30 cookbooks in the kitchen. Whoa. These are the 3 that I'm currently kind of looking at right now. Yes. So I definitely wanted to share that with you. And I also wanted to say happy Love Day to everyone. Every day should be Love Day. Right. But let's go ahead and take a moment to acknowledge that. And if you don't have a Valentine, be your own Valentine. Self-love, that's what we're talking about here today. The joy of healthy eating. That's right. This becomes the joy of healthy living. So yes. Happy Love Day to everyone.
That's right. Oh, and by the way, Tamika says, love Sweet Potato Soul. And she said, all those are awesome cookbooks. So you have some other fans. And Tamika also said, congrats for, the working on the cookbook and all the other things that are going on right now. So so there's a lot of opportunities. So if you struggle with healthy eating, there are resources for you. We have your back. Okay. There's no reason you need to be doing this alone. I didn't do it alone. Bliss didn't do it alone. And so our success comes from community. So reach out to us if you need that, and enjoy your Love Day, y'all. Okay. We love you guys. Have a great day. I'm going to stop the live stream now. Bye.